Okay, so my name's Daniel. I went to BSF Rosemont with my buddies this weekend. Played premium, as you could probably guess from the fact there's two decks. But um, overall we got second place. I'll show you the deck profile. Um, or oh yeah, I'm playing Steam Maiden. First things first. Starter. I played one Tran. You could honestly play any other starter. Doesn't really matter. It's just this one's SP. Next, I play four TikTok. Um, you can play three, but please don't play less than this. This card is actually very important if you actually get the stride. It makes your stride turn more impactful if you actually open Melon. Although I didn't really get the stride because of the way I built this deck, I somehow ran into every single ride down matchup humanly possible. But if you do get the stride, play for TikTok. This card is cracked out of its fucking mind, honestly. Triggers. I play four draw PGs. Um, if I were to think about it, I may have actually played Crit Sense instead of these, but four draw PGs is pretty nice against like reindeer, um, mirror, any like forest decks or any decks that basically hit really big numbers. The draw PG ends up being slightly better than Crit Sense, and it's also safer. Nothing can go wrong with a draw. If Ingilsa wasn't banned, I would have played Crit Sense, but hey, four draw PGs for now. Only three strike crit. Mainly because I play. Where is it? Ah, yes, I play four of these counter charger crits. This crit is insane, in my opinion. This crit basically just says bind itself, counter charge one. It makes your if you open double Enterana and you have one of these, you get both off if you only have one CB. You can do Corinto with this play. Do quite a bit. Scribes is insane in my opinion. It also builds your bind count to make your estimated number or your LOs bigger. So those are the crits. Then the one dark state over trigger. I just play this because there's no better over trigger, honestly. Heals. I play two Uluru and then two heal guards. The reason why I chose to do 2-2 split instead of honestly four of either or like 3-1 split is purely because I play Jet Engine because I think it's nice just either being able to sit on three force markers or ride down. And you need and unfortunately, unlike in Gilsa, you have to pitch specifically a grade 3 from hand. So I play these. Also it stops you from getting rushed. I play the two Uluru because you can still at least search it off of the Gear Cat. If you don't search it or gives you another target for Gear Cat searches, so you whiff less. If I played four of this one, I probably would have missed quite a few Gear Cat searches now that I think about it, because I'm half the time found this thing somehow. Also, just a 20k shield. Pretty based. If you ride down, 20k shield actually kind of matters. Now on to grade ones. Um, yeah. If I'm playing Sea Midden or Gear Cat. Yeah, it's Gear Cat. Searches a Steam Maiden +1. Insane. Good grade 1 ride. Yeah, it's so fucking cracked, dude. It's just like on call, spec top 3. Oh, I missed, or whatever. Or it's just if you put it behind something, it's just this big ass booster for like no reason. It's like, why do you exist? But yeah, play for Gear Cat. Um, I played two Mellum. The only reason is purely because of Narukami. This card actually helps me play around Narukami very well. For those who do not know, Mellum, after you swing with it, even if it gets retired, you still get to call a TikTok, so they can't just bulwark you and kill this unit, and then all of a sudden you're missing a front row, so you have to swing Van next to bind another target. At least this gives you another body. This makes your combos a lot harder to shut down. Also, Mellum TikTok combos is insane, bro. Sometimes got like, let me think. I sometimes got like three or four extra attacks off of just this card on TikTok. That's why I play for TikTok too. Um, two of the regular rideable great Steam Maiden. If you see it, it's a +2. If not, it's just another way to. It's just another extender, honestly. Very good card. I wish I could have played 3, but if you'll see in a second, I didn't have room for the third one. I chose to play a funny tech card that I got from my friend, aka Charlie, aka Card Dweeb. I think most of you know him. I played Tuzubaya. This is funny. Purely against Narukami. If they drop down unruly board with like random setup, like for example the starter, on, all of these tech cards honestly were for Narukami, and somehow, some way, I actually didn't see a single Narukami that day. Uh, this card basically lets you just pitch your whole hand if you have like really bricky hand and just pop all their unrulies and all their setup. If you pop it, generally speaking, you can actually kill from there because Narukami, if you other than their G guards, their hand is actually fairly fragile. So if you are able to get rid of like their board interrupts or even like key pieces, you actually have a lot easier time playing against it. Also, this feels good in the mirror. You can pop Antarana, pop Gear Cats. You can pitch out like random cards in your hands that are completely useless at the time. For example, like I think there were like a couple of games where I just kept drawing grade threes, so I just pitched a couple of them and popped everything, and I was able to recuperate off of Antarana while they couldn't. For grade twos, I play the most cracked card in the deck. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed, right? Yeah, for Antarana. This card's insane. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. This card's just completely insane, bro. Like, call +3, basically. Although I have a habit of missing the Gear Cat search, unfortunately, but hey, it's a +2 worst case scenario. I don't think I have to say much about this at this point. Uh, 3 of this one. Uh, I don't play the 4 purely because of space problems, plus, you only really need to see 1. You really need to just draw 1 and then you can tick-tock out the other one, as long as you're not me who damage checks all of them for some reason. Then you cry, but hey. You most of the time you only need to see 1. If you see 1 plus, either one of these or Mellum, if you see an Illo or a Mellum, either way, it leads to the exact same thing, same combo, as long as you have TikTok. So please, for the love of God, play more TikTok. I should have named this thing Play 4 TikTok. Right, Mortis. Then I play Tunabu. This card actually saved my ass actually a couple of times actually. If you do time leap return on this card, it's just a 30k grade zeros only. So basically, the benefit of this is your opponent can't heal guard this. The heal guardian is a grade 3. This thing only allows you to call grade 0. So basically, you force them into triggers only. If you really think about it. Or I guess you can Elementaria it if you really want to. I don't think you really want to Elementaria this thing. And also you can. This thing is just a draw. Also, it generates soul. Card's insane. I would have played. No, you can G guard into this. It's only the guard restrict is only from hand. G guard's out most guard restricts in the game right now. The only exception to this is Ghidorah. Thank the gods I didn't play against that matchup. I somehow dodged all the hard matchups because I was in seat B. Then instead I got all the ride down matchups. I traded bad matchups for ride down matchup. I don't know why, but everyone contested me for the grade 2 game. I don't know why, but I'll show you what ends up happening. Uh one more grade 2. I play 1 Corinta. Uh this card honestly sucks. This card doesn't do anything half the time. This You wanna know what this card is for? This card is literally only to out Honolly. This card came out once in all the rounds I played. I basically went I somehow opened up double Mellum. So I was like, okay. Swung 1 Mellum, swung the other one, TikTok Mellum called Corinta. Corinta swung back a Honolly called Nabu. And then I swung this into a rear because it doesn't hit anything because it's a 10k. Card. This card just doesn't out. If you can't out Honolly, this is your out, basically. Honestly though, if Honolly didn't exist, this card wouldn't be here. In my opinion. I don't like this card. Uh Not the grade threes. I played 3 Jet. Yeah. You don't have to see it. You don't have to see it. It's cute if it's there. It's also just a nice body. You can use it for a guard restrict, I guess. If you see it, you see it. More likely than not, you'll actually see it because of a certain card in this deck that should honestly not be here. You'll either see it off of drawing from This, or you'll see it off of Nabu and Twin Drive and everything. You can also, it's like you can ride down or ride back to Jet and get 3 force markers for your next turn if you have Elo in hand. If you have this, if not, you can sit on grade 2, I guess. Either way, honestly, works. Doesn't really matter. Uh, the time, you don't have to see this, but generally speaking, you'll more likely than not to see it. So just 3 is fine in my opinion. Mainly because your main ride after your opponent rides a 3 should be this. Oh, 4 L. This card's cracked. Yeah, I won like 3 games off of just this card, by the way. Because everyone contested me for grade 2 game. It ended up me killing them on this because it's like, cool, you ride down as well. Now tell me how you block 8 attacks with 2 while I have 2 force markers. It's like you don't, because my previous turn is either like this, or I have already just been filtering out pieces the whole game. Where okay, so the nice thing about this deck though is because Gearcat because Gearcat exists, you get better rears numbers because as long as you get enter on at one time, generally you'll hit a 9k to 10k booster depending on what your grade 1 ride is, or depending if you hit a Nabu. It ends up everything hitting over one trigger. So generally speaking, by the time you ride this, they should be at 5 damage. So if at 4 or 5, and this thing kills at 3, so this thing kills at 3 ish. It for sure kills on 4 or 5, unless over trigger. Thank God I didn't get over triggered, but yeah, it's good. The other reason is just because by the way, for anyone who doesn't know because they don't pay attention, you can't use these effects if you're not on Steam Maiden. So you have to be on LO. So you have to play this. You can play Emi as well if you want to play the one of, I guess, to make your engine a little bit weirder, but I don't like Emi. Emi is if I draw it and I have to ride it, I'm just crying basically because I don't get a force marker. And if I didn't have this, I literally just never kill. So yeah. Oh, the jet. Oh, the jet is. I'll show you. Jet is. Jet is here so I can get to this. I played 2 Time Leaper. Huh? It's the same thing as when in Gilsa was the thing. So, okay, here's the funny thing. I assume you know what the jet. I assume you know you can actually ride down on jet, right? Okay. Okay. So the way this interaction works, right, is if you're on jet and then let's say you go into Time Leaper, right? As long as you have a 1 in hand, you always get the ride down. Because let's say we have this here, right? And we have like 1 open CB or something. We can swing this and then swing the Time Leaper, bot deck this, and get the Enterana, and then do the whole Enterana thing. So what ends up happening with that is so you basically will call the Enterana here and call Gearcat here. Let me just pull them out to show. So one of 2 things will happen. If you have this on board already, it doesn't really matter. So the way you write down what Jet is, the way Jet is worded is you have to retire the card that you rode this turn. So, but the problem here is, when you attack with Enterana, you could actually Soul Blast out the Jet and do the whole combo, and then at the end of the turn, this retires. So at that stage, you do not have a Vanguard, but by the rules of Vanguard, you're not allowed to not have one. So you ride whatever is on Soul. So so this is also why I play Nabu, so that in case I blow all my soul, I can always just Nabu it into itself, and then just ride the Nabu. Or you could do the play you'll probably do more often than not, which is just ride back into Jet and get 2 force markers. Then on your next turn, you ride Elo. You ride Elo, and then you'll have 3 force markers. And honestly, I don't know how you live unless you rip a lot of triggers, which is what happened to me in finals. No, basically, I'll explain in a bit. So, yeah, I actually tell it now, honestly, it doesn't really matter. So I was playing against Kevin. The previous turn, he was like Aquaforce, right? So this deck, no matter what I do, I can't beat Aquaforce in the ride down game. In my opinion, they get too many attacks at some point because they also play Genovias. And if they draw Genovias, I don't know how I'm supposed to guard it because I can't just add 10 to my Vanguard. Um, so I chose to just ride back into Jet and then ride Elo the turn after. The problem is he healed to 1 on his triple drive, and then when he was taking damage on 5th, he healed. He healed again down to 4, and then he hit a defensive crit, so he went to 32k base, so I couldn't kill him. He kept this whole hand too. That was the biggest problem. I just died on Valios. If he didn't rip the second trigger, he would have. I don't think I kill him, but I think he loses most of his hand. And I was only at 2 damage, so I never died there. So yeah, overall, uh, I think most of the time when it comes to this play, I think it's better just to ride back into Jet like 90% of the time, unless you're into like some other ride down deck. If you're into like another ride down deck like NMD, Highlander, all that stuff, it might be better to ride down. I think honestly the only one you ride down into will probably actually end up being uh actually you probably ride down into most of those actually. Only Aquaforce do you not want to ride down in my opinion. Because again, if they draw Genovius, you're kind of boned unless you rip triggers. Too many attacks with that thing. It's like stands its full board. It's like 9 attacks for no reason. It's the same thing as why you don't want to ride in or like ride against this. It's like yeah, cool. And that's it for the main deck. And now for the Shred deck. Relatively simple in my opinion. Yeah. The deck is really as long as you have Mill on TikTok, it's the lines post stride it becomes a little bit more interesting. Pre stride is just we. You call 3 units and swing your face in. Because you don't really care because Enterana gets you so much hand size. Uh Quick shield, we yes, it's a Gear Chronicle one. I own it for every clan I play. Oh anyway. For the G zone, it's fairly standard. 3 of these. The best stride in the deck. I think. Do you know what this is? No, it's Chalishma. It basically you bind something from front row and call 2 from bind, and then your front row gets +10. It also, if it's in the G zone after, or it stays up in the G zone, right? So the idea is you flip her up, you flip another copy up. So when you when you do your whole leap combo and you end on 3, she's basically another attack. Because she can call herself she binds the grade 3 and then calls herself and gets another attack. Probably. If you see me play this deck, then yeah, you've probably seen this combo. I love this card. So 3 Shalishma, 1 Dust, never came up because I never honestly speaking, this G-Zone barely came up during my games because I kept writing that because it ended up turning into a ride down game. 1 Dust, 1 Heritage, or well, this is for the Naru matchup. Uh, you you kinda actually have to still play this because Mega Colony is still a deck. Actually probably the best deck as of right now. The only bad matchup it really has into is like fucking Narukami, I guess. You kind of have to play this. It's also you're out to Chaos Breaker if you randomly see it. Um, the engine so that I can actually play this card. Yeah, it's a Zodiac Times. This card sucks. This card sucks ass. Actually, this card then you never go into this unless you're in the Mega Colony. If you're in the Mega Colony, you have to go into this. Yeah, you don't want to go into this. It's like you go in this out of desperation. Thank God I never had to go into it. One of these. Yeah, it's so I can do Melon TikTok combo. That's it. I showed into this one and lost. I lost. Okay, so I was into one of my buddies from a local of ours. I didn't brick. He was playing DI. I heal guarded early and then blanked 3 defenses. So I lost my hand. So I lost too many cards in my hand. So I had to go into this because I had no pieces. So I just went. And then I lost him there. The DI matchup is actually unironically very hard for this deck if they go first. Or actually, no, I think it's hard either way. No, only if they're going first because it's only hard if they're going first because of this. You have outs to their combo. Um, Such as this. They can't NLK you 2 times if you have this card in hand, or if you have a heal in hand. Sorry, and you can G guard into this. Pandora basically forces them to bot deck a back row rear guard, so it stops their NLK loop. One of these. Uh, no, it's a Gearoid. It basically lets me bot deck a grade 1 or greater and call a 0. Basically, I get TikTok. Two of the best G-Guard. Bearlock. This card's insane. It turbos you to GB3 without actually needing a heal in hand. Unless only if you shouldn't. If you didn't, you need at least one heal in hand. Cards is insane. Two of these because I play Heritage. Honestly, the only reason. Honestly, there's no other reason. This G card's very mid. Actually, Bearlock does the same thing but better. One Uluru. One of the original ones actually. The only reason for this is so I can bot deck pieces and the heal trigger. And the funny part is you can actually bot deck OT with this. Yeah, and it's one trigger and one normal unit, so you can bot deck like TikTok and then like something else. Uh, and then one Hedora Han because I'm playing Jet. This card, this card's only impactful in like Regalia matchup. That's it. Honestly speaking, you wanna know something funny? These G guards look really nice, right? I didn't G guard a single time this weekend. I didn't use a single one of these the whole weekend. I played every ride down matchup known to man. Oh no, I did. I showed. I only okay. The ride down matchups only really came up in before top eight. Post top eight, I didn't really get. Or post top eight, I actually got the shard. But I only showed into like two things. I showed into this. I mainly showed into this. I actually killed a Katrina player with only one force marker actually, mainly because they misplayed a little bit. They didn't G guard early and give themselves 10 because they were playing the Inez build. Because Inez basically, huh? You're not wrong. Katrina is not that good right now, in my opinion. It's all right. It's not the best. Yeah, actually, you the Inez build only or like the Katrina or Neo Nectar, sorry, is only really good if you play the Superior Ride build, in my opinion. But that requires your opponent to give you a damage. If your opponent doesn't give you a damage, well, you're for out of luck. In my opinion, Katrina is only really good if your opponent doesn't actually know a little bit what they're doing. Mainly because, honestly, I don't think you should almost ever give damage to Neil Nectar while going into grade 2 because you don't know what they're playing. They could be playing the Superior Ride build, and if they are, you're kind of boned. If they're going first, I should rephrase that. Yeah, because it's because if you punt Neo Nectar, what ends up happening is they're gonna cyclone you. And then all of a sudden it's like, 30k token. Swing another 30k token, and then swing Van for like 35 or something because there's probably a token behind it. Sure. Round one, I played into Mr. Robbie Cole's team. I played against Highlander actually. That game wasn't really much to talk with. Somehow, some way, he drew 3 heal guards, so he couldn't use this. It was very funny. I kept thinking he just didn't want to ride down because he wanted to keep his hand against me because I had an actual good board. Then every turn, I was like, okay, swing, and then all of a sudden, plus 10, plus 10, plus 10. And then at some point, I said to hell with this because I didn't really want to ride into, or I didn't really want to play into like a whatchamacallit turn, Hellshot turn, right? I didn't really want to play into that because for some unholy reason I kept drawing threes. I only had 5Ks in hand, so I couldn't really do anything. I didn't really want him to plus either. So I was like, to hell with this. I just sat on 2 after the first ride down because I actually found Jet that game. And for some unholy reason, every turn it was like heal guard, heal guard, heal guard. So yeah. So I got that game round 1. Round 2, I played against a Katrina. Round 2, I played against a Katrina. Called Hanale, and I had double Mellum, so I just Corinted it back into deck, and then called him Nabu on the force marker. I think I 2 to 6 him or something because he didn't G guard early. Yeah, because he basically played on triggers. Uh, I don't think that's ever correct in my opinion. Even if right, he did hit a trigger, he's going to high damage counts into Steam it, and I don't think that's correct ever because it's like, cool, you got Katrina. Now what? I still have 13 attacks the next turn. How are you gonna guard? In fact, it actually becomes harder the next turn because I get 2 force markers. Yeah, it's because Melon TikTok enables everything, so yeah, Melon TikTok gets you every piece you need. Yeah, but the problem is in premium you got force markers, so yeah, I could run you by a full combo if you want after this. I'll show you. I'll show you the combo that should have won me the game against Kevin, or rather Kevin Cho, in case no one knows who I'm referencing. From WCC. Um, but I'll do that after I talk about the rounds. Round three, I lost to myself because I'm an idiot. So I was in the Shirayuki. Uh, I had the G assist. I had the G assist on one, but I went first, so I greeted. I said, "To hell with this! I'm gonna pass turn because I'm cool like that, I guess." Because I wanted the G assist with one extra card in hand so that I can actually guard stuff. The problem with that is I didn't account for the fact that he ripped over trigger, so I damaged like a draw and then a one, and then I whiffed G assist and I lost because of that. And then round four was into DI. I told you what happened. I blanked like 3 or 4 defenses. And then assassin kept hitting me, so I lost my hand. What was the round five? I was in the nightmare doll. I don't know. He contested me for the ride down, and then died on L. Like 90% of the time, 90% of the time it is. There's only one time. There's only like one deck that, in my opinion, can actually ride down, and that's Aquaforce, and that's only because they draw like 17 cards. I can't beat that deck in ride down. It draws too much. It's like if they go into Magnolia, it's quad drive, and then like Pursuit draws every turn. I was like, what do I do into this? Um, and then I won that matchup purely because at some point I just wrote LL, did 8 attacks, and 2 of them were on force markers. Top eight. Funny part is I ran that matchup back. I played the same person in top eight. The Nightmare Doll player. We played the same team again. He bricked extremely hard. I also okay, people. When I, okay, so what ended up happening was I swung a rear guard. I don't remember which rear guard. It hit. He ripped the defensive, right? But the problem is I'm on time leaper, so the defensive basically turns into a 5K to pass. You should never take the 5K to pass, in my opinion, unless you really have to. Because if you do, the problem is this deck runs like 4 5Ks. And if you run, and if I even asked, I was like, "Do you really want 5K to pass?" Because I wasn't out any of the counter charger crits yet. So, but that didn't change the fact I double crit him, and I pushed him to 5. I ripped a 5K crit and put everything on Van, and then I ripped a 10K and put everything on the called unit. I think it was Enterana actually. Yeah, it was Enterana. Yeah, because I needed a way to ride down because I don't really want to deal with their annoying turn of double Vanguard swing, Leslie Alice combo. God, that combo still annoys me to this day. Top four. Did I play in top four? Oh, I played against Jewel Knight. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Jewel Knight got the top four. I grade two games it. I actually should have killed him my first try, but I messed up because I don't remember what actually happened. But he ripped 2 defenses. I thought he was at 33K, but then I realized he ripped 110 and 1.5. So it was only at 28, and most of my rear guards still hit at that point. 33, it becomes a little iffy, but 28, I can still hit. So I wasted 2 attacks on rears, and he had 3 cards in hand, so I actually could have killed. I messed up only because of that. I still won that game though. I had a G guard in hand, worst case scenario, if he got Salome. So I would have just taken one swing and then Pandora'd on his Vanguard swing, and then forced him to not be able to call anything. Because if I remember correctly, Salome is end of battle, right? Yeah. Uh, so oh wait, is it on attack? Oh, okay, then it didn't really matter because I had like 15 cards in hand. I had like 2 PGs. I had like 2 PGs and like a bunch of pieces. Even if he was able to farm like 15 cards in hand or like 8 cards in hand off of Salam effect, it didn't really matter. Also, I think he messed up because he went force one. I was able to take the Vanguard slings like every time pretty comfortably. and guard the rears because the numbers are actually pretty small. Yeah, yeah, but the thing is, I think he should have won. Well, to be fair, I grade 2 game that I honestly thought he would have did it too, but he chose to ride into Ashley. He didn't ride slow, he rode Ashley, so I was like, I get yeah, it's alright, but he just didn't get a hand for it, so I was like, eh. And then, finals, Kevin. I talked about how I lost. I was like, I think I was in a very winning spot until he ripped 2 triggers because, no, our matchups okay, finals was actually very unfortunate for us, and actually, it's a little bit it was table 1 or, like, seat A was very weird because both Albert and my Regalia player both bricked out of their mind. My Regalia player could not find Norn or Yggdrasil for the life of him, and then, Albert, who was on Highlander that day, just could not find rears for the life of him. So, like, both of them just kept swinging Vanguard, but the problem is, Highlander just generates more markers, so it's harder to guard than it's like I think it got so bad my Minerva or my Regalia player had to do a regular Minerva play. It was very bad. It was like vanilla nothing. Yeah, it was just stride Minerva, call something, swing 2 Vanguards, and hope. But Albert had a PG and over triggering hand to guard, so it was like whatever. And then my seat 3 or seat C who was actually carrying that day because uh it was on Naru. Yes, he was on Naru. So he was actually able to beat all the weird matchups. He was actually into Darius, who was playing Steam Maiden, which in my opinion is a very actually hard matchup unless you can kind of play around Narukami. It's just a little bit iffy. Yeah, Sunrise rips like 8 cards out of your hand, or 4 cards out of your hand because you bind yourself. Yeah, Sunrise limited to one doesn't matter when this deck binds itself. Darius was also playing Steam Maiden, so yeah. That was crazy, man. I was like, "How, man?" Yep. Do you want me to show you the combo? Let me get some markers. Here, it doesn't really matter. I'll just use random cards as markers. So, if you really want to be like realistic, if you're going first, you're probably on 2 force markers. I'll show you the lineup that I did against Kevin. So I wrote back into Jet Side 3 force markers. So realistically, you want a line looking something along. You also want 2 damage, so I'll just give myself 2. So on this, you want a line looking something like. Honestly, it doesn't matter what's here. It's probably this. Against Kevin, I had this. Against Kevin, I had this. Yeah, I just somehow I had it like 80 ways to get it. I top decked it, but I had a Karunta in hand to spin the trigger back and get it. But I had something like this. So against if you have something like this, the way I played against Kevin was I swung this one first. There's probably it doesn't really matter. You also need like a 3 and drop. You need a 3 and drop purely so that you have pieces to bind. This is like very botched, but the idea is to do this. The melon will put itself back in the deck. No, you don't grab a water, please. You grab TikTok. So then you swing this melon. The way this interaction works, as everyone knows, is the TikTok will leap the melon. The melon's effect will persist, so you'll call out another TikTok. Then this one, since I have no setup, because we're very botched this game for some reason, call this one. This is just a setup for later. Swing this column, so that's attack 3. You do not leap this one yet, because there's better place. Swing this, leap this one away. Flip up the Shalishma. You'll call back these 2. This one's still on combine. Call this. Uh, Triple drive honestly doesn't really matter. Against Kevin, I actually had a slightly better setup. I had the one here. So this only takes one CB. Against Kevin, I had this setup, which is slightly better. So I guess this would be in drop for now. So we'll just do it this way. We'll assume this is what we have for now. So this will be attack 4. You'll do the triple. Yes. Doesn't really matter from there. You'll swing Mellum next. Same thing as before. Mellum will proc. You'll call yet another TikTok. This time you'll probably end up calling this one. Well, since there's only one card in drop, I guess call this. Doesn't really matter, honestly. You'll swing this next. You'll do another TikTok. This is, by the way, why I play 4 TikTok, because I blow through these guys like crazy. Like, I've already used 3 in one turn. Typically, you want 3 in deck. That's the thing. So it's like, eh. And these numbers aren't small, by the way. This is 46. Then you'll Soul Blast 1, call this, and then this is 45. Then you'll swing this one, which in this case is 28. Her effect proc. If you want to do this, you need 2. If you want to do with this one, you only need 1. This is 9, so this one will be like 49. Leap. You go from no bind to so much bind so quickly too. Then yeah. So it's like, so if I were to count, I did 4 on this side, 4 on this side, then 1, then 2. I did 11 attacks this turn. You can get 13 in a very, very weird way. 13 is more common on second stride because you need more attack. You need more CB. I'm playing off of nothing basically. Also, this is having nothing in bind, or you only have like this in bind, and like LL or like some arbitrary 3 in bind. It got so weird in that game. I was actually about to start comboing with a heal trigger because you can't actually leap into a heal. So yeah. So, but in my opinion, where is it? Not that. I need that for later. Where's the last one? Oh, is it in hand? No, it's not in hand. Where's the last one? Where's my last TikTok? Oh, there's my last TikTok. In my opinion, this card is cracked. If you ever get to stride, unless you're in ride down game, this card is just insane. I don't think there's a world. In my opinion, there's not much of a world where you don't play for TikTok. The only world you don't play for is purely because there's no room for the fourth one. That's about it. I think the minimum. Yeah, I think like 2 out of the 4 Steam Maiden tops in Rosemont only play like one of these things. I don't know how you're supposed to do that. I think the idea, if I remember correctly, is like I think it's due to people thinking they're gonna never ride up. But the problem is, I think you're either winning on this or you're allowed to stride. That's basically it. And in my opinion, more people than not will probably let you stride. Because I don't really understand the idea of riding down into this deck, because it's like if I go first, it's like you have to live this card while I have 2 force markers. I don't know how generally you're supposed to do that. So more often than not, you'll be able to stride, and if you have this, it's like this card was limited for a reason at one point in G era. In G era, this card was limited for a reason. So, in my opinion, play 4. Yeah, yeah, that was not as th that was purely because this thing was limited and it was just a starter. So, like, Mellum couldn't really search those, but now since this thing has been put back to 4, it's like, why not? It also gives you so much soul. You need soul for you need soul for, like, Karunta and Tirana. You actually need a soul for this. You need the Soul Blast one to call it from bind.